Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler have both reacted to Dana White's interview last night. Dana stated that Conor will not be fighting this year.
We talked, yeah. We talked. We didn't meet up, but we talked. And yeah, he wants to fight, so we'll figure it out.
Soon? By the end
Not
of this
year. He won't fight this year.
Conor reposted that clip on X. He wrote, Dana, December is the date. Bring the calendar year home with a winning event. Come on now, what's this? I'm off to altitude next month to prepare. December. Tell Dana and the UFC we want December. We deserve December. Conor ended up deleting that post. However, Chandler replied with this. He wrote, Conor, the sport will move on and thrive without you. Put to bed, laid to rest, soon a distant memory. You vastly overestimated your importance inside of this game for almost a decade. Godspeed. Darren Till gave some advice to Israel Adesanya for his upcoming fight against Dricus du Plessis this weekend. Darren himself fought Dricus back in December of 2022 and was submitted in the third round. That was Darren's last fight in the UFC. Darren posted this to X. He wrote, got some advice for Izzy on how to fight DDP on Saturday. Lots of feints. He reacts to them so much and throws from the hills. Then you could step back, have a look, and either for the punch combo or knee maybe a kick. You're a high-level striker, so you know what I'm on about. Everyone on here won't have a clue, but they will try to understand it. Only elite strikers get it. As he rushes in, also do what you did against Rob, and I did the same. Yours knocked Rob out, whereas mine didn't, but still same. DDP will rush in. Instead of standing back or going back like most of these silly, stupid strikers do, stand your ground and just hit him with either, again, the punch combo or even a knee up the middle. I personally love the elbow as they're lunging in, but it's whatever suits at that time and whatever you have practiced. Hope this advice goes well with you, Izzy. Anthony Smith says the fight with Dominick Reyes is not official at the moment, despite reports last week. Anthony says it was only a 10-minute phone call he had with the UFC in regards to fighting Dom. He thinks somebody in Dom's team keeps leaking the fight before it's actually even signed. Anthony does, however, say that he thinks he will end up fighting Dom.
I leave Friday night at 10 p.m. and my phone has just exploded, and it's everyone reporting and texting me oh, you're fighting Reyes. It was a 10-minute conversation. Talking about it a little bit. This is the second time I've had any kind of negotiations with Reyes. Someone in his team squeals like a pig the second there's any sort of conversation about a fight. I don't know what it is. Both times it's happened. It's as soon as they get off the phone, we talked about having a fight. Better tell everybody. So I don't know. I mean, it was talked about, but there is no fight.
Well, there's some intrepid reporters around in the mixed martial arts world, and they will find out these facts. So, bottom line, Anthony, more than likely, is Dominick Reyes going to be your next opponent, regardless of the timeline? Is that a possibility?
Yeah. I will fight Dominick Reyes. I accepted the invitation to fight Dominick Reyes.
Jeez, it's like pulling teeth.
No, it's not. I didn't. There's no
You made it sound like the whole thing was bullshit.
It is bullshit. There was no bout agreement. There was no. The question was, would you ever fight Dominick Reyes? Yeah, I would fight Dominick Reyes. Okay, cool. I'll call you back. That was on Friday. Here we are on Monday. I haven't heard a goddamn word since. There's no contract. There's no date. There's no location. It was just, would you do that? And I said, yes, I would do that.
Jon Anik responds to the criticism he received over his commentary during Bilal Muhammad versus Leon Edwards. Fans were accusing him of being biased towards Bilal. Speaking to MMAfighting.com, Anik said, I have an interpersonal relationship on both sides of this. I actually go further back with Leon than I do Bilal. Tim Simpson, Leon's manager, is a good friend of mine, and historically, for me, the call that has, I think, helped my career the most was something that relates to Leon Edwards. If you listen to the Anik and Florian podcast, our show ends with Leon Edwards saying headshot dead, right? So there's a lot of connective tissue and interpersonal stuff for me on both sides of all these fights. But yeah, I felt like the call was down the line. Now you can imagine all the different things that commentators hear from fans and fighters and coaches and bosses over the years, but I sleep well at night. I stand by that call, and I stand by Bilal Muhammad as a friend. When we launched his podcast with my twin brother 4 or 5 years ago, whatever it was, he had 18,000 Instagram followers. He was unranked. We believed in him in terms of having a social media presence and that he could maybe become a contender, if not championship athlete. And you know what? We bet on the right f***ing guy. And if I got married a second time, he might be a fucking groomsman. So I can't help that I have friendships that I have developed in this sport. But you can be sure I'm not as close with Bilal as I am with Dominick Cruz. And once any of these guys hit the tunnel or hit the inspection zone, last thing I'm thinking about is their mothers and their brothers and the interpersonal stuff. So it is what it is. It comes with the territory. And people who don't want to credit this win in this historically great division by Bilal Muhammad, cry. Kai Kara-France says he plans to remind everyone why he's one of the best flyweights in the world. Kai is scheduled to fight Steve Erceg in the co-main event of UFC 305 this weekend.
Yeah, I'm just excited, and just grateful for this opportunity for the UFC to be putting me on such a big card close to home. And yeah, I owe Perth a fight. I was supposed to fight here a year ago and I got injured, so yeah, it's long overdue. Yeah, definitely, it's a massive fight for the flyweight division, co-main event on a pay-per-view, massive for this region. 2 flyweights from New Zealand and Australia getting to battle it out. Just shows you, how far this region has come in the UFC. We've both fought for the title before, so this can't not be fireworks. And that, I guess having that kind of pressure and that expectation, you just have to go towards it, and that's what I'll be doing. So yeah, I welcome all of it, the good and the bad, the people that are here to support me or watch me lose. I think I'm going to get a hometown reception just because there's so many people that from New Zealand that live in Perth. So yeah, I'll be channeling all of that, and yeah, that's what excites me. So while this rest of the division have been beating each other up, I'm coming in fresh, I'm coming in hungry, and ready to remind everyone why I'm one of the best flyweights in the world.
Eric Nicksick is optimistic that Francis Ngannou versus Jon Jones could actually happen one day. Speaking to MMA Junkie, Eric said it has to be. How can you be in this position and not want to try to fight the best to ever do it, right? And again, I've said this time and time again. I think Jon is the best to ever do it. And if you're a competitor, how do you not want to try to compete against arguably the best to ever do it? That is, yes, you want to game plan, you want to compete, you want to try to put your best camp forward and your best fighter, and that's obviously Francis. Yeah, that's definitely something I would still love to have the opportunity to be able to do. I'm very optimistic when it comes to these things, and I think money talks. You get the right people behind you. Obviously, we have a good relationship with Saudi, and I know Dana and the UFC are working well with Saudi, so money talks. No disrespect to Dana, but he has a boss as well. So somebody tells, hey man, this is a lot of money. We're taking this. Set your ego aside. I think Dana is in a position where he wants to make the best fights, and he's not going to let his ego or any past history take advantage of that. If he feels that Jon Jones is the best to ever do it, then absolutely. Put your best guy forward and give us the opportunity to see if we can dethrone that man. Sean O'Malley and Tim Welch give their take on the woman accusing Alex Pereira of last week. They believe if the accuser gets caught lying over something as serious as this, they should receive legal punishment.
But I was just nasal breathe. But then I sat in my sprinter and hit my legs with my hypervolt for 20 minutes on the way home. That wasn't too bad.
Alex Pereira accused of
That's cool.
I saw the video.
Joke.
And the girl came out and said he butt. I talked about
Actually?
this on the Red Hawk recap. Yeah. And the girl was like OnlyFans girl. Said she wasn't a fan of the UFC. And then someone found a clip of her at you and Cheeto's fight, just flashing her in the stands. And then the friend that she was hanging out with said, hey, that didn't really happen, or nothing happened. And
Damn,
she made the girl
that's a
look
crazy
bad.
accusation. Is that punishable?
Dude,
Crime? Jail time?
it should be big time. If a girl gets caught lying about something like that, that should be the same repercussions if you.
Damn.
Michael Chandler reveals an option for his next opponent if the Conor McGregor fight falls through. Chandler wants the rematch against Charles Oliveira. He went on to say the sentiment from Dana White doesn't sound as bleak as a lot of people would think. It doesn't sound as bleak as a lot of people would think, given Conor's antics with a Stone Cold Steve Austin vest and the drinking forged Irish stout at Bare Knuckle FC, but we'll see. Either way, I've always felt that if the Conor fight didn't happen, I'm going to be just fine, and I will put butts in seats, and I will sell pay-per-views, and I will entertain the entire world when I step inside the octagon. The most realistic option for me, if you look at the landscape and you consider everything, is Charles Oliveira. I love the rematch with Charles. I think it's a great fight to get fans pumped up. I almost had him finished in the first round, and then I made a glaring mistake in the second round that I would never ever make again. It was the most self-fulfilling prophecy that I was working on in camp that turned out to be my demise. Me and Charles for the #1 contender spot. I beat Charles, knock him out in the first round, then all of a sudden I'm sitting at the #1 contender spot, and I get to choose whether I fight Islam Makhachev or do I fight Conor next. Why not both? Tom Aspinall posts footage of him grappling with a professional rugby player.
Go for it.
Oh, slippy. Well done, Hugo. Good whizzer. Oh! I tell you what, he's got some good techniques.
That was nice. That was nice.
He had a little whizzer in there at one point. Beautiful,
mate,
man.
Stuff. Cheers, mate.
Thank you.
That was good.
It looks like Kevin Holland versus Chris Curtis is off. The two were scheduled to fight at UFC 307.
Chris. Yeah, that's my fault. My bad, Kev. I f***ed up a little bit. My bad. See you next time, I guess.
Israel Adesanya discussed his current relationship with Alex Pereira today. Izzy responds to Alex backing him in his upcoming fight against Dricus du Plessis this weekend and saying that he holds no grudges against him. Roughly a month ago on his YouTube channel, Alex initially said, "I don't think he loses this fight against Dricus du Plessis. I hope he wins because he has a beautiful story. I think he has to continue his story. He isn't a young guy. He talked a little bit about wanting to stop fighting. I think he has that in mind. I don't think he finished his plans. I don't know if he finished them, he would have stopped. So if he's still there, he still has a dream. I don't know. I'm here supporting him. I already fought him. I'm not going to say he should lose. I'm not mad at him. No grudges. Like I said, if one day it's possible to train with him exchanging knowledge." Speaking to the Mac Life, Izzy responded saying, "Look, I like Alex and I'm proud of what he's doing. But example, like his fans are still coping. They're like, it's still 3-1, I like the fact that I'm in their head. He's fine. I saw something like him wishing me luck and stuff and I'm like, that's cool. I have no ill will towards him. Again, when he fought Yuri, when he fought Jan, I picked him to win. You know why? Because I thought he's probably going to win this fight. I fought both of them. I just picked him to win and I expected him to win. If you're fighting my friend or somebody that I'm cool with, I'm going to support them and I'm going to find a way for them to win. This is how Yuri can win. But a lot of people can't see the forest for the trees. That's their downfall. And that's going to wrap it up for the news. Thanks for watching. For daily MMA news and content, subscribe to Full Mount MMA and click the bell icon to be notified when we post videos. Here are the 3 top comments from last video. The first one's in reference to Sean Strickland's accusations against well-known MMA manager Tiki Gosen. It says, "Sean Strickland does a lot of talking, but he has my full support with this one. Protecting victims against p***os is a good deed." The second one's from Front Row Films. It says Dricus wins by mouth kiss. And the final one's from Mr. Grant Gregory. It's in reference to the footage of Colby Covington hunting for predators with Vitaly and Lil Pump. It says Colby finally not in a boring fight. Those were the 3 top comments from last video. If you want to be featured in the next one, all you have to do is comment down below. And if you missed yesterday's news, click the video on screen right now to get caught up.